Michael Kelly, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
Well, I'd love to spend 10 minutes talking with you about the Braves and Ronald Acuna. We have to talk about Special Ops Lioness. It premieres on July 23rd on Paramount Plus, and you play a character named Donald Westfield who oversees the Lioness program. I'd like to start with your interest in the project. What stood out to you and attracted you to this role?
Well, it's a hot start. Well, you got 50 wins before the All-Star break. I think we're looking really good. um, I think what attracted me to the project was obviously to start with Taylor Sheridan. I was a big fan of his. I had met Taylor when I flew to LA once to I was there was a few of us who went and not tested, but read for Taylor for an Angelina Jolie film that I ended up not doing. But that's how I met him for the first time. And when this project came around, they're like, Taylor wants to jump on a Zoom with you. I was like, oh my God, oh yeah, I love that guy. I'm just such a fan of his content. I think he makes incredibly heartfelt, cinematic, dramatic uh, television, films, everything from Sicario to this, like just an incredible talent that I wanted to work with, and it was in the world that I knew a little bit about and obviously love. So it was an easy decision for me to go jump on with Taylor Sheridan, Nicole Kidman, Zoe Saldaña. Like I was all in from the word. Do you wanna words? Do you wanna?
Well, what was it like working with Taylor? Because he's known for creating so many successful shows. Is it something about the way he works that makes it so successful? What was it like for you to work with him?
Well, the only thing that I worked with Taylor on was when I went to meet him for that audition for the Angelina Jolie film. This was all his people. He wrote it, but this was all his people running the show day to day on the ground. So I never did in this show work. I mean, obviously I'm working for Taylor, but work specifically with him on set. When I was on set, he was never on set. So
Gotcha.
um, I think this one he was the creator of. And Taylor, if you know better, you can let me know.
Well, the series is based off of a real life program. How much research into these CIA programs did you have to do to kind of prepare for the role of Donald?
Well, the good news for me is that having done Jack Ryan, House of Cards, obviously House of Cards is not CIA, but I've come to know those worlds quite well. Um, and I actually did get to meet the deputy director of the CIA while I was on campus there at Langley. At the CIA, we screen it for them every year. We screen Jack Ryan for them every year. They may deny it, but we do. And we do a screening for them. And last year he was the moderator for the Q&A after. And I was like, oh my God, dude, I had just done the fitting or I'd done my first day. And I was like, I'm playing you right now. And he's like, what? And I was like, I'm doing this new Taylor Sheridan show. And he's like, oh my God, I love Taylor Sheridan. And we got to talking and I'm like, I'm not playing you specifically, but I am playing the deputy director of the CIA. And he's like, that's so cool. So now we're going back on the 14th for the Jack Ryan. We're going to screen it for them season 4 finale. So I'm going to get to see it, hopefully get to see him again and tell him how it went and what he's got to look forward to.
Well, in these roles, you kind of mentioned they're very tense and they're serious and there's a lot of serious back and forth. Yourself and Nicole Kidman, who plays Caitlin Mead, are in charge of the Lioness program. How difficult was it to maybe flip the switch between your character, who's very serious and tense, to maybe back to yourself in between takes?
Um, Nicole and Zoe, they're such lovely. In addition to being these monster talents, they're very lovely individuals and so come to work so prepared and to the point where they don't show up with sides for rehearsal. They're just like, okay, let's rehearse, which is very uncommon in our field. I had my sides and immediately hid them when I saw that they didn't have theirs. But I'd say it was easy because there was not for the maybe not my first day because I was still so nervous, like being with anytime I'm on a show for the first time or a film for the first time, there's a certain amount of nerves that go along with that. They've been filming for a couple weeks before I got there. But it was pretty easy after that because everyone was so lovely. Like just honestly, like the most sincerely lovely people you'd want to work with. So not only was it this incredible professional experience, it was a lovely personal one as well. I'd known Nicole. We did a film together many years ago for Billy Ray together, and so there was a comfort level. She remembered me, gave me a big hug, and I was like, okay, I'm a little better now. There's a sense of comfort there.
Well, kind of building off that experience with working with such a talented cast, you've been very vocal about how great it was to work on a female-driven project with incredible
Yeah.
women such as Zoe, Liza, Nicole, and obviously we can't forget about Morgan Freeman. But what was it like to work on a project that was so driven by female voices?
Incredible. I mean, it was one of the things that really drew me to the project. You have this predominantly male world that the way that the consumer sees these sort of not jobs, but these sort of films and television shows, you always see it with men, right? So to see it with badass women and never for a second watching it thinking like, this is cool, but it's with women, like you don't even, it's not even, it doesn't even cross your mind. These women are so incredibly talented, and the scripts are so damn good that this show, it's amazing. I'm so proud to be a part of it. And I always joke around and say, I'm not jokingly, but I really mean it. Like, the world would be a better place with women running more shit. Like, they're just better at just about everything. So now we have a show with a bunch of women running. It's pretty badass, man.
Well, finally zooming out a bit for you, is there a central theme that runs through the entire series?
Um, I don't know. There's many. I mean, there's honor, there's integrity, there's justice, but really, like, when you think about the fine line that they ride, the very fine line that they ride, that everything is not black and white. There is this gray area that we have to operate in order to keep everything just and right. And I think that's what's so fascinating about this show. Not only do you see these women operating in that world, but then you see them at home, and it's just as compelling, because you're like, holy shit, as a CIA operative, you can't bring home everything. You don't have someone to bounce stuff off of sometimes at home, because they can't know what you're doing. So that home life, you're just like, oh God, what's someone gonna say? What's it gonna be? Come on. I'm just so damn proud to be a part of this show. I really am. I'm not just saying that. I'm doing press. Like, it's unbelievable. I think this is an incredible show, and I think people are gonna freak out when they see it.
Yeah, I'm excited for people to see the kind of the complexities with all these characters.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
you can
Morgan
watch.
Freeman.
Well, oh yeah, of course. I mean,
God.
Morgan. Well, as you call him, God. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. But you can watch Michael and the entire cast in Special Ops Lioness on Paramount Plus when it premieres globally on July 23rd. Michael, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks a lot, Michael. Have a good one, buddy.